Welcome back to Liam's AP Psychology. My name is Liam Kim, a junior in Korea International School Jeju, and in today's video we're going to look at some key terms in AP Psychology that you need to know for your approaching AP Psychology exam. Okay, so this vocab list is consisted of some crucial vocab words that you need to know, and it is in alphabetical order. So, starting with Arabic, let's delve into some key vocabs that is a must for the AP Psychology exam. Okay, number one, Arabic. Arabic was a psychologist who sought to reverse the patient's catastrophizing beliefs about themselves, their situations, and futures using cognitive therapy. So he used this cognitive therapy, right? That means he was a cognitive psychologist. So using the technique of reversing the patient's kind of beliefs that kind of led themselves to be afraid of a certain catastrophizing event. Arabic was famous for this cognitive therapy for assessing the situations and futures that this patient may face in the future, and to like provide a life guidance for this patient, right? So Aaron Beck is a psychologist that you need to know. You only need to know, I think, for the AP Psychology exam. He was a cognitive psychologist. This is all the key information you need to know about Aaron Beck. And let's look at number two, absolute threshold. Absolute threshold is the minimum stimulation needed to detect a particular stimulus 50% of the time. And I want you to focus on two phrases in this sentence. Number one is the minimum stimulation. Absolute threshold is all about minimum stimulation. So, for example, let's say you need a level of 50, right? Let's say you need like $50 to enter an amusement park, right? And $50 is like the minimum amount of money. It is the absolute threshold that you need to pay to the amusement park to use its facilities, right? Ride roller coasters. However, if you pay only like $49, or if you pay like $1 or $10, which are all below $50, then you cannot use the facilities in the amusement park, right? You cannot ride roller coasters, you cannot ride Vikings if you do not pay the $50 that is needed for you to make an entrance to the amusement park, right? So the $50 is a minimum amount of money that you need to pay, and that is what the absolute threshold is. It is exactly the same concept. It's the minimum stimulation that a person's body needs to detect a particular stimulus. And number two, the key phrase in this sentence is the 50% of the time part. So, 50% of the time, when you pay $50 for an amusement park, that doesn't guarantee your entrance to the amusement park. When you pay $50, you have 50% chance to use the amusement park facilities. So, for example, the amusement park would be so crowded that day, right? There might be so many visitors that even if you paid your $50 entrance fee, because there are too many people, you have to wait, right? You have to wait, or you have to go back home because you think that you will not be able to make it the day because there are too many people, and you're like, we've been waiting for too long. And that's what happens the same inside your body, right? Because there might be some times when your body is kind of crowded with all the activities and all the signals from your brain. The chances are only 50% that a particular stimulus will be able to pass the minimum stimulation test, which is the absolute threshold, and then starts a reaction within your body. That's what absolute threshold is. Number three, let's look at accommodation. Accommodation is about adapting our current understandings, schemas, to incorporate new information. So, for example, let's say a baby saw a cat, right, for the first time. And a cat has 4 legs, has furry hair, and a long tail, right? Then the next day, let's say the little kid saw the dog for the first time. And the dog had furry hair, long tail, and 4 legs as well, right? It's the same for all dogs, right? So, if the child has learned that an animal with 4 legs, furry hair, and long tail is a cat the previous day, seeing the dog for the first time, since the kid cannot differentiate the cat and the dog's difference, because the dog also has all the aspects that the cat has, right? So this little kid comes to think that the dog is a cat as well, right? But then this kid needs to go through a process of accommodation, learning that he needs to adapt his like current understandings of the definition of a cat, right? Such as a cat is more quiet than the dog, right? So those kind of like some different factors that differentiates a cat from a dog. And this kid needs to learn that kind of information. That is what accommodation is, right? He needs to learn the difference between the cat and the dog because they are not the same. Now let's look at term number 4, achievement test. Achievement tests are tests designed to assess what a person has learned. So the AP Psychology exam and the ACT exam that you're going to take at some point in your life are all achievement tests. Number 5, accommodation. Accommodation is an actual state of adjustment or adaptation. It is a change in shape of the ocular lens for various focal distances. So there was this accommodation in number 3, and in number 5 there's another accommodation, right? And number 3 was about behavior, about the cat and dog example, right? However, in number 5, accommodation is an act of adjusting your eye part, the part of your eye. In specifics, that is called the ocular lens, and your muscle called iris is regulating the amount of light that is penetrated into your ocular lens to allow you to have a vision. And that kind of process of like regulating the amount of light that the iris permits into the eye is called accommodation. So you're changing the shape of your ocular lens for various focal distances. So the amount of the permutation of light into your ocular lenses that decides how far you can see in psychology. So accommodation, the process of like changing your shape of the ocular lens, it helps you to see various focal distances. Now I think this will be the last one for today. Let's look at acoustic encoding. Acoustic encoding is the encoding of sound, especially the sound of words. So let's say, for example, if you hear an Apple iPhone alarm sound, right? You know that sound, right? The sound that comes off of your phone if you use an iPhone when somebody calls you. Then let's say, like, while you're studying for the AP Psychology exam, let's say you are watching Liam's Jinso's AP Psychology video right now, but then your friend called you and your iPhone rang off that bell that all people know, right? That sound, that dingly 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 sound, right? That sound just came through your mind, and then you just learned about acoustic encoding, right? Then your brain has the capacity to relate the iPhone's incoming phone call signal, that alarm sound, and the vocab acoustic encoding together, right? Because while you're learning this word, because the sound has happened at the same time, and the next time when you hear the same sound, if your iPhone rings off again because somebody called you, then you'll be able to remember the word acoustic encoding because you're in the same situation in which you learned this vocabulary term. Right? Simple enough, right? So this was some key vocabs that you needed to learn in a really short amount of time. I explained 6 words. So I hope this kind of quick short video will help you. Like this type of videos will be uploaded regularly. And I hope that you can learn through all the key concepts that you need to know to take the AP Psychology exam. Alright, thank you guys and goodbye. Good luck with your studies.